Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me on this channel. Today we'll be looking at 4 critical constraints that can break or make our project. So what do I mean by that? In projects, we have successful projects and we have fake projects. And to us, to have a successful project or a fake project, it boils down to this limitation or constraint that I'll be talking about on today's feed. So join me today as we talk about this common constraint that we used to face on our project. Every project will encounter this during the life cycle of the project. So what do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about the constraint. We call it project constraint. Triple constraint, that's what we call it in projects. And sometimes we call it project management triangle or iron triangle. So today I will go deeper into it, and I want to talk about how to manage this constraint on our project. So my name is Michael Alabi. I'm a project management professional and a certified Scrum Master. So once again, thank you once again for joining me as we dive into today's topic. So let's start without any further delay. So what is triple constraint in project management? Triple constraint is the interconnected relationship between the scope, the time, and the cost. So when we talk about triple constraint in projects, we are talking about the scope, we are talking about the time, and also we are talking about the budget. These are interconnected relationship, or sometimes we call them interdependent constraints on our project. So as I said, we are going to talk about 4 today. So the fourth one is the independent constraint that we have on our project, which we call it quality. So whenever we are working on a project, our eyes is always on the quality. We want to make sure that we maintain quality all through the entire project so that we can provide a quality outcome, a quality value from our project to our customer or to our end user. Let's say we are developing a web application or an app. We want to follow international standard, and at the same time we want to ensure that we deliver something that will meet international practices. So that is when we talk about quality. So no matter what happens along the line in our project, whether there is an increase or there is any issue on the scope or time or the budget, we still ensure that we produce quality outcome from our project. So this constraint will help us as a project manager to be able to manage our project, our ability to also trade off on our project, and because it will comes with some trade-off along the line on our project, and at the same time to be able to manage quality on our project. So that is why this triple constraint is very important in our project. Remember I said the scope, the time, and the budget, the cost, they are interdependent constraints. So also we have the quality, which is the dependent constraint. So let's talk about scope. What is scope on our project? Scope is the exact thing we want to deliver. Let's say we want to develop a web application app. So that is the scope. That's what we want to do. But aside that title, that scope, that simple scope that I mentioned, there are certain features that we have to put together in order for us to achieve this app. So that is why our scope, the features that we want to deliver, is part of the scope. So let's talk about time. What is time on our project? Every project will have a beginning and an end. That is the characteristic of a good project. There must be end, there must be starting, and there must be end. So the duration of our project, the timeline that we are going to use on our project, that is the time in time of project. So 6 months, we want to complete this project in 6 months, in 4 months, in 1 year. That's the time frame. Also, we talk about budget. What is the cost? Cost on what we want to buy, what the payment for the resources, the human resource, the people that will work on the project. Do we have to also get something outside our own company? Like let's say we have to order something outside that we will need a vendor. This is still also part of the project. Do we have to buy anything for the project? Let's say we need some set of computer for our project team or software in order to achieve this project. It's still part of the costing. So cost is the main thing. Every project must have a cost. So there must be a scope, there must be a timeline, and at the same time we must have budget. There must be a fixed budget for our project. 600 to complete, 600,000 Canadian dollar to complete this project, 1 million USD to complete this project. There must be a cost. So this is very important on our project. So let's now look at what is called trade-off. Like I said, time with this triple constraint help us as a project manager or somebody working on a project to do what? To be able to manage we manage this constraint, we manage this limitation, we also have some trade-off, and also it helps us to manage quality of our project, and also to be able to continuous monitoring our project all through the entire project life cycle. So let's talk in terms of scenario now. So we look at scenario one by one on this topic in terms of trade-off. Trade-off is very important for us to achieve this project. Remember that not every project will complete without any limitation. That sometimes there will be a change in scope, there will be a change in time, there will be a change in cost. So our ability to now manage this constraint, this limitation on our project will determine whether we're going to have a successful project or a failed project. So let's look at it one after the other. How do you now use trade-off on this project? And let's look at trade-off in terms of scope. Let's say, like I mentioned earlier, that we want to develop a web application, and also when we start this web application, let's say it's a banking app for that will allow the bank customer to make their transaction via the web application or via the web app on our phone. So let's say we want to have these trivial features on this app: ability to transfer, to check our account, ability to receive text message, ability to use our fingerprint or two factors authentication on our app. So let's say this feature, we have this little feature that we want to, our ability to transfer abroad, internationally, our ability to check our account. Let me know how much do I have in my bank account. So let's say we have four features, and suddenly one of the stakeholders say, oh, I want you to add more features. Let's say we want to add another 2 features: ability to get notification, ability to receive 10 SMS. Let's say we have additional. Once we have additional 3 features to the existing 4 features. So in this kind of situation, is either we are increasing the scope, then what we have to do now, we have to now increase the timeline and also increase the budget, because once we increase the features, the time for us to finish the entire project will increase, and also the cost, because sometimes we have to get we have to hire more people in order to complete this project. Let's say more developer, because we have increased. So now there must be a trade-off. Is either we increase the cost on our project, or we also increase the timeline, or we still maintain the timeline, but we increase the cost and get more people to work on this project so that it can complete on time. So this is how we have a trade-off on a scope increase. So what of reduction in scope? Sometimes we have reduction in scope. Yes, when we have reduction in scope, there is not going to be an effect or issue on the project, or else there is a contractual agreement. Let's say we want to get a cloud technology from Amazon or Google or IBM or whichever we want as a vendor. So in this kind of situation, there is a contractual agreement that, oh, we are going to deliver this to you in this time. So when there is a reduction in scope, then there is going to be a reduction in timeline, because we have reduced the scope. So, but now, because we have a contractual agreement with external vendor and they can't change it, it can have issue or effect. There might be an effect on our project. But when it comes to increase, there will always be an issue on the time and on the budget. So, as a project manager, we have to do what is called trade-off in order to achieve a solution on this project. Now let's talk about time. Let's say there is an increase in time or there is a reduction in time. Anytime we are trying to reduce time, so there must be a trade-off between the scope and the cost. So it's either we increase the cost or we reduce the scope. You know the reason why? Because we want to finish this project in 6 months. Now we reduce it to 4 months. So we still have certain features to finish. So it's either we now to increase the cost to get more people to work on the project, or we have to now reduce the scope of our project. So let's say we want to have 6 features. then we can reduce the features to 4 and take the rest of the feature in the next feature. So sometimes we will start the second phase of the project when we have another cost and also add those features to it. So that is when we have a reduction in our time. So time is also very important. And lastly, let's talk about the cutting cost. So when there is a cutting cost on our project, let's say we have a project of $600, now we want to reduce to 400 due to some reasons. So now, because we are dealing with the cost, there is going to be a trade-off for us as a project manager on the scope and also the time. So when we are talking of this limitation that we are, or this triple constraint, any changes in any of these constraints will affect the rest of the constraints. So there must be a trade-off on other aspects. So in terms of this reduction in cost, then there must be trade-off between our scope and our time. So once we reduce the cost, is either we have to reduce the scope or we extend the time frame to finish the project. Why do we have to do that? I said there must be a good trade-off. Now we have $600, $1,000 to finish the project. Now we reduce it to what? To 400. So now the number of features that we want to complete, which is the scope, is still there. Now we need people that are working on the project, or we want to buy anything. The cost of the project, we have reduced it. So now what that means, some people have to go. Maybe you have to have reduction in the number of people working on the project. So let's say we still want to maintain our scope, then there will be an extended timeline in order to complete the project. So the trade-off, when there is a reduction in cost, the trade-off will be on the scope and on the time. Are we reducing the scope or are we extending the time? Because reduction in scope meaning that there is going to be a reduction in human resources that are working on this project, the resources that are working on this project. So there must be a way for us to manage this on our project. Let's quickly talk about quality. We talk about the trade-off. We have the cost, the time, and the scope. Now trade-off is what we have to do in order to manage this project and ensure that we have a successful project. So now, what of the essence of quality as a constraint or as an independent constraint? Anytime we are working on this, despite of our trade-off, we must always also ensure that quality is very important. So because we are trying to reduce the cost, does it mean that we have to now reduce the number of testing by the quality tester? No, we still have to ensure that we have to factor in this, that irrespective of the change in our scope, in our time, and also in our budget, we still maintain quality. We don't allow the quality to be tampered with. So quality is maintained all throughout the project. So that is why quality is very important on our project. So we are looking at the trade-off between scope, time, and cost. Then quality is at the center. So we must ensure that the quality of our project will still maintain it, because at the beginning of the project we do what is called quality workshop or quality planning. So when we plan the quality, we know what exactly we want to deliver, what is the best practices of this time, what's international standard for what we are developing that we want to achieve. So we must ensure that we don't move away from what we have already stated at the beginning of our project as the quality that we are looking at. Okay, at the end of the project, this is what we call definition of done. This is what we call this is a matrices that we can use, that we can say, oh, based on this we have achieved this quality on this project, on this application, on this software that we are developing. So now, how do we now manage this trade-off in order for us to have a successful or a failed project? So we look at 4 things. We must ensure that we prioritize constraints. What are the things that are so important to the stakeholders? Remember, when you are working on a project, you are working to satisfy the stakeholder, nothing else. So the stakeholder have their expectation and they know what they want us to deliver. So now we are working for them so that they can have exactly what we can achieve their expectation. So we ensure that we prioritize. Even when we are trying to cut down on the features or change, or there is a change of course, we must ensure that we prioritize that area, those needs of the stakeholder. Another thing that we look at is we have to also communicate earlier. So, we have the project stakeholders, key stakeholders, and other stakeholders, external, internal stakeholders, and also we have the project sponsor is also part of the stakeholders. So, no matter the change on the project, we must ensure that we have a meeting, carry these people along, so everybody is aware that this new change on our project could affect our time. It could affect the cost. There will be a need for more money, or we may have to reduce our features. So you have to carry them along. This is very important when working on this project. And also we must have a change control measure. So there is a planning at the beginning of our project where we have the change control management process. So you must put a change management project in place so that we will be able to control the issue. That's why, like I said, not every project will complete well. There will always be changes along the line. So make sure that you put this structure, this measure in place. We call it change control measure, so that there must be a change that you can develop what is called change in first form. So that, and you must also have people that we call the change management board, people that we approve that change. So put change process in place, measures in place, and lastly, you must be able to manage this constraint, this limitation continuously all through the entire project. So there must be a way to manage this by maybe a weekly. You are checking the risk, you are checking the schedule, you are checking everything to ensure that we are working and you are able to continually produce something out of the entire project, and till you finish the entire project. There must be a way to continually monitor the project. So thank you so much for following me today on this topic. The topic where I said the 4 critical constraints that can make your project or break your project. So thank you once again. My name is Alabi Michael, and I'm a project management professional. So I'll be looking forward to see you watching the rest of my other videos. Kindly subscribe, like, and comment. I will appreciate to read from you. Till another time. Bye.